Welcome to another episode of Everybody's Got Something. I'm your host, Seth Hoffman. We've got two wonderful guests, Miss Charey Fox and Stephanie Galloway. Stay tuned for an inspiring show. Let's get to it. Let's have some fun. Well, as you know, the show is called Everybody's Got Something, and that's one of the special things is we see the special gifts and wisdom that our guests have, and probably you at home do as well. Today we're going to start off with the song. You hear the intro of it, but now you're going to hear the whole thing of Everybody's Got Something, even you. Everybody's got something that nobody else has got. Everybody, you're the only one. Everybody's got something that's just your style. Everybody's got something that makes you smile. Everybody's got something that makes you laugh. Everybody's got something you want but don't have. And oh, la dan da dan da dan dan, oh, ah cha cha cha. Everybody's got something that brings you pain. Ow. Everybody's got something that keeps you sane. Everybody's got something that quenches your thirst. Everybody's got something that makes you burst. And oh, la dan da dan da dan dan, oh, ah cha cha cha. Everybody's got something, how we get in the flow. Everybody's got something that lets you let go. Everybody's got something that you live for. Everybody's got something that you would die for. And oh, la dan da dan da dan dan, oh, ah cha cha cha. Everybody's got something, your own special gift. Everybody's got something, the way that you lift. Everybody's got something you were put here to do. Everybody's got something, you're the only you. And oh, la dan da dan da dan dan, oh, ah cha cha cha. 'Cause everybody's got something that nobody else has got. Everybody, you're the only one. All right. I would like to welcome the first guest today, Miss Charey Fox.
Hello.
Charey, it is such a pleasure to talk with you and to be with you. And I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about yourself, a bit about what inspires you, and what are you up to these days?
I have owned The Source in Albuquerque for 18 years. And through the pandemic and really launching last year, we started a collective called Together Source, so that we would really team together and create better healing and well-being and fun for kids and all sorts of stuff together.
So what is this source? This is a community, it's a place. What for those who have no idea, what is the world of the source?
Yes, it's many different practitioners, mostly healing practitioners of different disciplines and alternative ways of thinking, most of which really hold the viewpoint that we need everything to be well. We need community. It's not just one thing that's going to fix your problem. It's everything that's going to make you have a good life. And having a good life is being well and healthy and having a good time.
Okay. And has this been a philosophy of yours from childhood? When did you take this as part of your being and something that first was important to you, but then even more excitingly that you decided to share?
Well, it's funny that you should ask about childhood, because when I was a little kid, I just knew that I would have a center and that there'd be all this changing world and that I would be in the middle of a changing world with a lot of people that knew how to support the change.
So you're telling me that as a child, you kind of had a vision of the source.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Incredible. Incredible. And did you share that with someone, or was that just something that was inside of you?
It was inside of me, but about 20 years before I landed the source or created the brick and mortar experience of it, I probably started talking to people about it. Maybe ad nauseum. I mean, basically.
And do you recall, was there a family member or a friend? Was there someone who planted that seed in you, or was it just kind of always there? Do you
I mean, I think that my dad was somebody who was beloved. So he had a big following of people that loved him. And he, you know, the impression that I had of him is that people would flock to him. And he was very thoughtful and considerate, and also he liked every different viewpoint.
Okay.
So he would, if somebody was getting righteous about something, he would play the devil's advocate. He made sure that people he was in his leadership positions in his job would never fight because he held a container.
Okay.
So maybe just as pure inspiration, that vibe is something that we like to have at the source. We like diversity, empowering diverse everything. Diverse peoples, economics, and skill set. And even during the pandemic, all these different viewpoints, and we still held together.
Amazing. That is incredible, because there's so many, I know, as I'm sure you do, families and communities that were really broken apart, and the fact that your community has stayed together and maybe even stronger, I don't know.
Way stronger, because we refuse to throw each other under the bus for our different viewpoints.
Incredible. And that's I always say to people, wherever their viewpoint is, if you divide and you cut people off, then whatever powers are out there you're opposed to, then they've won. That's our biggest way to rebel, is to stay together. So I commend you. I commend you for that.
Absolutely.
So I'm just curious, for a lot of us have a dream and a vision. Oh, and you had this vision when you were a child. How did it come from just an idea to being an actual reality? I'm sure it was not just one thing, but what can you tell us about how that...
I did have a little inheritance, and I partnered with somebody who also had a little inheritance. But also we just felt completely led. Neither of us were interested in doing anything like it. Wow. But it was like a nudge, almost like a go, do it, like a nudge from behind. Okay. And then over time, actually we bought into a property 2/3 in with the person who owned it priorly, so that they could keep building equity. And the neighbor was so difficult.
Oh, wow.
That we approached the landlords, because we couldn't even have like a kid's graduation or a little kid's party without him being very upset with us.
Okay, so you had an early obstacle.
we had an obstacle that actually produced us purchasing the next 2 duplexes.
Okay. See, sometimes we are gifted with such problems to open doors.
Yes, I have lots of problems, and I'm always wondering what benefits are coming.
That's brilliant. That's a great outlook, because we can be sure that those problems are going to keep coming.
They will.
And so if you can take them as fuel, then that's a pretty great thing.
Yeah, they're laughing matters, for sure.
Yes. And so tell us a little bit about what are some things that you're very excited about that are happening now, or that are in the upcoming future, that are, whether it's people that are involved or events.
Yeah,
or,
well, we have a fair coming up March 24th, and it's a family-friendly, fun fair festival, and Kevin Kinane is going to MC it.
And he'll be on the show one time. He is a big hero of mine.
Recycle Man,
Yes.
And it's actually in the last year and a half we've made our fairs and parties the place to be for kids, and we have a bouncy castle, and we have puppy adoption. I mean, we do everything and feature music and little bits of education and wonderful opportunities at our fairs.
Beautiful.
And let's see, we are now collaborating on food. So Michael Thomas Coffee left.
Yeah. Oh, they left?
They did. They went down to one location. And so I've been interviewing all these different coffee shops and different food people, and a juice bar opened next door. And now that juice bar is getting potentially some of the product of Annapurna. And I've got food trucks coming to possibly either partner with this or some. It's just basically and finding out who has what for us to feed us.
Wow.
And create. So it's more and more of a community endeavor where people at the juice bar are helping to volunteer to make sure it's just
incredible. You from the years I've known you, you have a gift of bringing people together, and I think that's one of the reason why your community has such life. I think you have that where you see what people have to offer and see how it can be brought together
that's
in an exciting way.
Little bit of a leftover from my family of origin too.
Wow, incredible. And one of the things I'm interested is, here you are, you've created this world, this community. What's your dream? Do you have an idea? Are you the type of person who says, okay, I'm in the moment, I'm just going to take it day to day? Or do you, I mean, I know you're more than that, because when you were a child, you had a dream like this. Do you have a dream or a goal of what where you like to see this go, or what do you like to see it become, or is it kind of its own thing that you?
I have a lot of dreams.
Could you share some?
in fact, they just come to me. One of the things I've hoped for was to purchase all the properties on the block, not the block with the, like, basically where we would share our backyards and have a sustainable village.
Wow.
And that we would have this sort of the end of the block, which is where the duplexes of the source are. It would be a marriage of the two, essentially living with smaller footprints. So somebody could live in a casita, and somebody could live in a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, and we would have shared greenhouses and solar and water catchment and gardens. Amazing. And that we would somehow find a way to do that. And I've collected a lot of neighbors' interest.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So now it's just a matter of manifesting it.
Okay. A wise person, you know him, Jonathan Wolfe. He said, when you have a really great idea and a dream, you don't keep it a secret. You share it, and that's how it can take life.
Yes.
So I'm inspired hearing about that. And go ahead. Yeah.
And then my own practice.
Yes.
Sometime in the last handful of years, I've gotten really clear about my personal mission.
And can you share that?
I'd love to share that with you.
Please do.
Because again, I've got to share it to get it out there.
Yes.
I believe that the human psyche, because I let me just go back a little bit. I lead a group every Monday night since 2015, where we do stress relief, tapping, and then gratitude, and then we usually have a snack break because we like to snack, and then we do something called sacred knowing. And in the process of doing that for years now, every week, even through holidays, I have discovered that the human psyche can change, and looking through the eyes of gratitude together as a group of people, like thinking together, the world has changed an awful lot, and it's not all bad. I mean, everybody thinks, oh, it's terrible, but that's...
I like that you said that. I like how you said that. It's true. Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, that's better, but I like it.
Yeah. Actually, there's so much awareness that, 100 years ago, as a woman owning property, owning a business, just the freedums that we have, and all around the world. So there's a lot.
And our ability to communicate with people around the world. I mean, it's just it's true.
There's a lot to work on to change, but there's so much more, if you look at it, that's better than we could have ever imagined. And it is my mission to somehow spark something, add something to the equation, to the mass consciousness equation, that shifts the human psyche so that we no longer give any room for the bullies on the planet.
Beautiful.
That we won't be divided as neighbors and friends, that we won't believe the lies, that we won't be able to lie, we won't be killed or murdered, that we won't be used. It's just like, I believe that the human psyche has this potential for real, like really evolving.
I'm with you. And so many people are so in a negative space of thinking, oh, where things are going. But I feel like, the humans are evolving, and we have a ways to go. But with all this trouble and challenges, I'm with you. I'm so inspired that you feel that and see that, and I hope you continue to share that, because there's a lot of people who are so discouraged and feeling hopeless.
Yeah.
And to keep that hope alive, that there's actually exciting things in the works going on.
There is exciting things.
That's
for sure.
Beautiful.
Yep. Go ahead.
I know you had mentioned you wanted to maybe lead a bit of a meditation at some point in our.
I just want to offer a little piece of relief for people.
Okay, so before you do it, because I want to ask if you could, because a lot of people who might be watching think, okay, maybe there's a way I could be more healthy in my mind or body or spirit. Maybe you can give just a little bits of wisdom.
Well, I mean, I really see the value of gratitude. Mm-hmm. I definitely work and see the value of releasing stress through somatic practices. I teach EFT and other somatic releasing techniques. So the body.
And what is EFT?
It's emotional freedom technique, and it's something you can do on yourself to release tension, stress. Every day you can just tap and release. And there's a lot of techniques like that you can do to bring yourself into balance and to go from sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic, which is capable of digesting and relaxing instead of fight and flight.
I think a lot of us could do with a visit to the source.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
And then the piece that I'd like to offer as a gift is our resources. Essentially, we're never alone, but most people feel very alone.
So true.
And even in our cells, the cells in our body come from our parents. We are literally created in part by our parents. I mean, 50-50, if you think about it. Yeah. So they are in us. They're in our cells. Mm-hmm. And so are our grandparents and our great-grandparents on back. And so are the lands that supported them and the foods and the gardens and the trees and the animals that gave them life and the water that went through their systems. That water is what flows through our life, and it's the water we drink, and it's the water that rains on us today, all the way back.
Incredible. And it's true. That's scientifically reality. I mean, that is.
Just by being earth beings, we are resourced.
See, and even just saying that just for me brings me comfort, because a lot of times, someone who's lost a family member or a parent is like, no, they're with you. They're really a part of you. It's not just some hokey expression. They are literally with you.
Yes, they are. They are. And what I often do is I ask people to just connect into the cells in their body and invite their parents. And maybe you might not know them, or you might not even like them, but just imagine, if you will, that you're in the center of your cells and your parents are standing behind you, like they've got your back.
I love it.
And then your grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents on back. And you might not, be able to hold that whole vision, but just intend it. Yeah. Intend. And then one of the things I heard on a talk from Maya Angelou for a graduation class was that she would call in her loved ones. So I asked people to call in their loved ones. Who's here for me? So when you start to feel in that, you go, who's here for me? And you let whatever impression be what is arriving for you. And it could be your pet or a past loved one or an ET or Christ consciousness, whatever it is, just allow it to be and allow yourself to feel resourced. Because within that context, that's the greater truth. We think we're alone. We think that nobody has our back, but we are actually 37 trillion cells of life force that are filled with everybody who has created us.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, thank you. I feel better just hearing that. I'm thirsty for more, but what you're saying just resonates, makes a lot of sense, and it's enriching. And I am just so grateful that you are to be your friend, and I'm grateful that you are here on the show to share some of this wisdom, which I think can really help and bring a lot of comfort and open a lot of doors of possibilities for people. Is there anything you'd like to close with? Closing words? Anything that you can leave us with today?
Well, I guess if you, I mean, my opinion, there may be, this is a possibility, that I come from a different dimension simultaneously here.
Yes.
That knows about being awake, connected, in love, in the love flow, even though I've made plenty of mistakes here. And that's totally part of the journey.
Yes.
But that everybody has a resource of available light, and then we can come together, and we can make a difference. Just a little tiny piece of you being you makes all the difference in the world.
Yes. Well, thank you. I'm gonna think and let this percolate in my being, and anyone who is watching this either now or maybe in 50 years from now on YouTube, whenever it might be, but you are a blessing and a gift. I just wish you continued strength and inspiration and bringing community together and enriching and bringing health and goodness to so many people.
Thank you, Seth. So are you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, well, I'm going to play a little song before we bring in our next guest. And this song is called Just One Thing. And it's a lot of what Charey is saying is sometimes we can get bogged down with so many different things, having so many tasks. But ultimately, we can do one thing at a time. And if we can focus on one thing at a time, there's a good chance that can happen. So this is called Just One Thing. There's so much to do, more than we could never get through. Not ready to let any of it go. Whoa. Start with just one task, and what's that, you ask? Nobody in the world but you can know. Whoa. Take it as it comes, do what you can do. It'll make a difference and means the world to you. Break it down to just one thing, it'll really blow your mind. It'll really blow your mind, Don't think of it as everything. Start with one word to sing, and then you can really belt it out. Whoa. Shake it up, shake it down. Move your body all around. Get excited for the places you will go. Whoa. Take it as it comes, do what you can do. It'll make a difference and means the world to you. Break it down to just one thing, it'll really blow your mind. It'll really blow your mind, Whoa. Take it as it comes, do what you can do. It'll make a difference and means the world to you. Break it down to just one thing, it'll really blow your mind. It'll really blow your mind, So decide what your one thing is. Put your heart and soul into it. Okay, I'm very excited to welcome our next guest, Miss Stephanie Galloway. Would you please join us? And all right, you are looking glorious. I love your colors. I love your style. And first off, how are you doing today? How's your morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here and honored to be able to get to be on your show and talk about the things I'm passionate about.
Well, yeah. I am very well honored. And tell us what do you do? What brings you joy? What fills your heart with passion?
Well, at a young age, I discovered visual art. I'm mainly a visual artist, and I got into it because I was born with a visual impairment where it's called amblyopia, where I don't really have much vision in one of my eyes. And I think I realized at a young age, because I had surgery on it and stuff right away, it was apparent to me that like I didn't see the world like literally the way most people do. And so I was like, wait a minute, so like it became a way for me to communicate with others how I see things.
Wow.
So I picked up, art supplies at a young age. I was thankful to have parents that kind of nurtured and fostered that. And I would show people my drawings and as a way to say, look, this is how I see the world, and, lots of times, I would have trouble. I was kind of shy kid. So that was my like entry into socializing, I'd be like, hey, look at my drawings, or, so, and it offered me an early way to connect with others.
And did you have someone who was an inspiration as far as an artist, or just people who encouraged you to explore it, or where was your early artistic, knowledge, or you just through exploration?
Yeah, I grew up in Santa Fe, and there's a really vibrant art scene there as well. And my parents would take me to all the art galleries and things, and I'd see those on the wall, and I'd be like, I'm gonna do that one day. And I even at our house, I taped up some of my drawings to one of the rooms and would like invite people in. I like had my makeshift gallery. So
wow, as a kid, really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so as an artist, the world of art is exciting and wonderful, but can also be challenges, as anyone who's ever created anything knows. Mm-hmm. Can you share what have been or are some challenges you face or have faced, mm-hmm. and how do you move past them, or how do you use that, or how do you overcome that?
Yeah, at first it was pretty apparent to me that my drawings were very two-dimensional. Because of my visual impairment, I don't see, 3D, mm-hmm. really. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of art has like dimensions to it, can show ways, techniques and stuff to
like
do
what's
that.
What's in the distance, what's here.
Yeah, so I actually worked with that was my ability, is the two-dimensionality, and it became kind of like a style, mm-hmm. Meaning like, because most people who are, have a regular sight are able to like do dimensionality. So mm-hmm. I worked with it, and it actually became like a style. Uh-huh. So.
And about style, you are someone who has a very cool style.
Oh, thanks.
You're a work of art yourself. Oh, yeah. Has that something you've always been expressive, or when you were younger, did you just kind of be like everyone else, and at some point did you decide, I'm gonna do what I want to do? How did you get to be you in this way?
Well, I think my personality always stood out, but I didn't always wasn't connected that outwardly until I went to college, and I got more in touch with that. So my outer appearance started reflecting more of what was inside me, because inside I feel a lot of colors and vibrancy, and I feel very alive and excited inside. So later on I started to feel more of that outwardly.
Very cool. I'm glad you let it shine. So let's talk a little bit about your art. One of the things I'm very interested, whether it's music or visual arts, is your process. What is your process for deciding what you're going to create, where you create, how you're going to do it? How do you get your ideas, and where do you do it, and what goes into it for you?
Well, I think I also have a form of synesthesia where like you hear music and it creates like color visualization. So you connect color with sound kind of. And so a lot of the process for me requires like having music on,
Okay.
like while I'm creating.
Okay.
I almost like always have some sort of music in the background while I'm creating. I found that like classical music is usually my go-to because it doesn't. Sometimes I can get lost in lyrics if I'm like listening to music. So I'll just put on like classical or jazz. Jazz is really great for that too because it just you can get lost in like just with the music and go. And it also helps with flow.
Yes.
Like it just keeps things going, and the process doesn't get tripped up because you're moving with the music.
Yeah. And do you ever find, depending on what music it has, that you can later, when you see one of your paintings, you can, I can tell I was listening to this music that day. Do you feel like it, as far as like the style of your brush strokes or whatnot?
I think that like when I'm listening to classical music, my strokes with my painting, because I mostly paint, tend to be like more bold and precise, like, but when I'm like listening to jazz or something more like or jam music kind of, it's more like my strokes are more free flowing.
I see. Okay, so it literally does it. Literally affects
it affects some of that going on.
Okay. We are blessed to have some of your pieces in the studio today. You can see the ones that are on the screen. Anything you can anything you can tell us about any of them in particular? Either what inspired them or something that is meaningful, especially for you?
Well, I like to use a lot of animals in my work, and food also is a big topic. Also, like historical figures and people from history, because I'm a history buff also.
Okay.
So and then I also like fantasy is very a topic that I like to explore too. But I also mainly what happens in my drawings is like a playfulness, because I'm really having fun when I create them. And so that, also I like to make people smile or kind of brighten up their day when they see the colors. So I'm very color focused too. I like extremely bright colors.
I just want you to know, at least for me, that is something you are successful with, because over the years, that's something I've always appreciated, is because just like when I see what you do, it brings brightness and it brings a smile, and there's just something that brings about a positive response for me, and I'm sure for many other people. So I'm grateful, and what a beautiful vision. And in case, I'm sure you do know this, but it's coming across. It really does.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wonder if you could tell us do you have a dream? Are you just, you're creating, you're showing your work, you're having opportunities for people to see it. Do you have something you think, I would love, this would be my dream to either create this art or have my art in this place, or to, I don't know, whatever that dream is for you, no matter whatever it would take for it to happen, what would just is so exciting, would be so exciting?
I would love to one day have my own art community space to open up to artists and all abilities, because being a person with visual impairment, accessibility was a very important thing to me when it came to art, and just being more a space that's very open with the community and open to all.
Yes.
Whether you're been doing art a long time or you just got into it.
Yes.
To just be a safe space, community space, just to build that.
And did you, as you have, been developing yourself as an artist, did you have people along the way, anyone you can think of who was that space for you, or gave sort of guidance, or gave some very meaningful encouragement on your path?
Yeah, I'd have to say all my teachers I had growing up.
Like not just art teachers,
All of
but
them,
all your
like
teachers.
all my teachers, because I think they always noticed that I did things a little creatively with how I learned,
Yeah.
and they kind of congratulated that and fostered that in me. And I was just fortunate to have really good teachers growing up, and so much so I even got a teaching degree because I was inspired by all
Wow.
that. So yeah, I have to say one of the biggest influences was my teachers that I had.
Beautiful, beautiful. And do you have two wonderful children who are gifts themselves? Is art a part of their creative outlet, or just part of their life? I'm sure in some way, just because they're around you, but...
Yeah, my kids, I had them drawing and painting at a young age. My 5-year-old, she paints alongside me while I'm working. So I think some of that kind of, she watches mom, what she's doing, and she gets really into it, her own work too. And my son, he's more of a literary creative.
Yes.
So he writes stories. He's been creating his own board games since he was 3 years old.
Incredible.
And at this point, he's made some that I tell him could even be made into something for to share with everyone.
I bet.
So, yeah.
Incredible. So there's some creative juices flowing in your family. As I'm looking at your work, I was, whenever I hear a song or see a painting or read a book, I think, what was that like, the experience for the one who created it? I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the materials you use. Do you have a specific studio or a place you always like to paint? How do you begin the process? Just the technical, for some people who are either artists themselves or are interested. What's your process, and what do you use, and where do you do it?
Well, I don't have a studio, so I work on my kitchen table because so it's multi-purpose, my kitchen table, because that's where the most natural lighting is.
Okay, that's important.
And I found that with the lighting coming in, it just really helps me to see things better while I'm working. So I think I just naturally gravitated to that room in the house because it was the lightest room in the house. It's my kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to have a mix of using a space where you cook and eat, because I felt some of that creativity flows into my cooking. I guess the whole energy is in there. There's this whole process with my kitchen. It becomes a very creative space for me.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I was thinking of the kitchen being the heart and soul of a home.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like your house is very much. And what's your medium? What do you use, oil or pastel? I don't know so much about.
I mainly work in acrylics, but I have started to delve a little bit during the pandemic. I got into doing sculpture.
Really?
So I do a little bit of that, and in fact, I'm working on stuff for a show called Fun a Day. It's where you make a piece every day in January. The participating artists do that. I participated for a while. It's an annual event, and it happens the whole day in all of January. And I'm making a sculpture every day. So it's I'm kind of doing a medium that I usually don't do often. So it kind of opens up that other aspects.
And is there a way will they be displays, or I'm curious to see what your January in 3D will look like.
Yeah, in February there's going to be a show at 1415 Gallery in Barelas.
Okay.
And at the beginning of February, and so that's where all the artists are going to get to show the work they did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how is it for you? Are you? So there's some artists who are very comfortable painting, but have reservations about being out and talking about it and all that. Is that something some people who say, I've an opening, I don't even want to go to it. How is that for you? Is that an exciting thing? Do you like to?
To me, that's the funnest part, one of the funnest parts, because you get to connect with the community, and you get a chance to explain what's behind your work, to give it some depth and context
yes.
for what it's about. and you get a lot of questions because it's like a lot of times with art, people are just curious to begin with, especially if your work like is not so like doesn't really spell everything out. They'll be like, oh, what did you mean by this? Or what did you mean by that? So that's one of the funnest parts. I enjoy it actually. So yeah.
Well, I'm inspired by anyone who's living their dream and passion, which you are, and I'm wondering if you might have some words of wisdom for someone who, you know, has an interest in this, but they think, oh, a lot of people say, oh, but I'm not an artist. This is for someone, not for me. What would you tell to, you know, whether it's a child or an adult who's, you know, feels that inspiration inside of them, but doesn't quite, you know what to do or know how to start or feel that they can? What could you tell someone?
I think I would first, the two main things is say to be to celebrate your creativity, because everybody has it, and it doesn't always have to be like you think it's going to be or how you expect like what creativity should look like, because everybody's creative and everybody has something to share. And just to celebrate that and be in touch with that.
That's beautiful. Well, I am grateful to know you. I'm grateful you're out in the world, and I'm glad that you are living your dream. You're living your passion, because you're an inspiration for others. Just you are who you are. I really admire your sincerity and your authenticity, and as I said, your art brings joy, I know, to many people, and the colors you use brighten so many things in a world that frankly could really use it. So I just want to honor you and hope you continue to just have all of your dreams manifest in the ways you want. I just thank you so much for being on your show, and I can't wait to see those sculptures out soon in January.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's so wonderful talking to you. I look forward to talking again. All right, well, what a joy, this show. We've got to hear from two very inspiring people who are living their passion. Our dear friend Charey Fox and Stephanie Galloway. I'm going to end with a closing song. I'm not sure if I was going to maybe have accompaniment from my little son Shane, but he will soon I will be the backup host. He will be the main one. We'll see. Maybe he will join, because I know there was a song that he wanted to accompany with the harmonica called The School Song, and that's a song that I wrote subconsciously when I was very young, when I didn't want to go to school. So we'll see if maybe Shane, would you like to sing the school song together? Okay, you want to come by the microphone over here? You have your very own special microphone. You want to stand over here, though, so we can see it? All right, should we do it? Here we go. Shane, you want to start off? Say this is. What's the song called?
School song.
All right, here we go. Don't think I'll go to school today, I'll just stay home if that's all right with you. The teacher's kind, the kids are cool, but still I just can't go to school today. And tomorrow I will return, but today I just can't learn a thing. Oh, pretty please don't make me go just this once, so please don't say no. And do not worry, it's okay, it's just that I can't go to school today. Harmonica solo, you ready? I'm gonna go to the microphone for them. And do not worry, it's it's okay. It's just that I can go to school today. Thank you very much, Shane. It was a pleasure to play a song with you. All right, thank you for tuning in on this episode of Everybody's Got Something, and I hope you find something special to do with your day and honor those people in our life who inspire us and support us, and I know we can be that for those around us. So wishing you all the very best, honoring my dear son Shane, Stephanie Galloway, Charey Fox, all the best to everyone out there. We'll see you next time on Everybody's Got Something, especially you. Everybody's got something that nobody else has got.